There is still far too much excessive force by police, too often deadly force, especially against African Americans. White supremacists have become bolder and more violent. Housing and schools have been rapidly resegregating, locking too many African Americans and Latinos into slums and their children into inferior schools. Ever since the 1970s, the African American unemployment rate has continued to be about double that for whites. Latino unemployment continues high as well. Labor union membership has shrunk from about 25% of private jobs to about 6%. Inequality of income in our country has greatly worsened. Rich people are healthier and live longer. What's fair about that? They get a better education, too. And a better education produces greater inequality of income, and then that greater economic power translates into greater political power. So where do we go from here? We know what needs to be done, and we know what works. A more progressive tax system, making rich people and big corporations pay their fair share. Stopping tax and spending subsidies that redistribute wealth and income in the wrong direction. Strengthening unions and eliminating the legal and other barriers which impedes the right of workers to organize. Raising the minimum wage to a living wage, which would be a giant boost to the economy and bump up middle class wages too. We need more affordable housing, and housing and schools integrated by income and race. We also need re-regulation of big banks and big finance. Better income for those who can't work and who can't find work. A sound, free public education for all, from early childhood through college. Education and training with special attention to those put out of work by circumstances beyond their control. Health care for all. The basic American principles of equal rights and equal opportunity for all, whatever a person's social standing, zip code, religion, gender, or color. Investment in infrastructure, in science, in alternative energy, and in technology. Investment in ourselves. But how can we get these things done when present times are so politically tough? First, I think we can take heart from the fact that the great civil rights movement led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., John Lewis, who I think is a living saint, and others, began in a terrible and depressing time of Jim Crow, rigid segregation, and harshest racism. The odds were overwhelmingly against them, but still they courageously resisted, persisted, and ultimately prevailed.